Chukwu okike na-alụ n'ime ndụ unu n'aha Chukwu okike nke pụrụ ime ihe niile. Ekwumie m okwu n'isi ụmụ ọdịnala prayer ministry. Asị m na ọ ga-adịrị unu mma. N'aha Chukwu okike nke pụrụ ime ihe niile. Ya gazie. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ndị ichie ya emegide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ndị ichie ya emegide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ndị ichie ya emegide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ike ọfọdụ ọgụ megide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ike ọfọdụ ọgụ megide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ike ọfọdụ ọgụ megide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ndị mmiri megide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ndị mmiri megide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o. Enu megidebe ha o, ana megide ndị mmiri megide onye si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma o.
Good morning viewers all over the world. Egwe nụrụ kịta si na ngalaba na-afụ gbasara mgbasa ozi ọdịnala Igbo Ugochi ọdịnala temple a na-akpọ Nkwa group led by me. If you like the music, go to YouTube, Audio Mark, the iTunes and rest of them and download it. We have all the rights. For some of you that are seeing me for the first time, call me Ogbuefi Eze-Ana, Ugochi Norifite, or call me Akajugo. Abụ m onye isi nchụaja na Ugochi ọdịnala temple. Anyị na-agba afa miri emi lụkwazị ọrụ mmụọ dị iche iche. Abụkwazị m onye isi nchụaja na ọdịnala Restoration Evangelical Mission. Lụkwazị onye mgbasa ozi ọdịnala Igbo. So you can call me a priest or an evangelist. I will answer. My mission is to help people live better life. Like I always tell you, what you don't know remains a mystery to you. And I keep telling you, strive, search for knowledge. If you are knowledgeable, a broadmaster. If you lack knowledge, you remain a slave. So by the word you are going to hear today, you will be made clear. I can make one of your child by Senoku Gonogan. So pay attention in today's lecture. Invite your friends and well-wishers so that they will hear from the horse's mouth. If you are joining us from our television channel, Ezioku TV, tell people about our administration. As you are doing this, may you be favored. Today we are in new brand month using Roman calendar. We are in March 1st. All the people that join us in our monthly rituals for the last month will receive the concluding part today, later today. And on their WhatsApp numbers only. As you all know, we don't share whatever we are doing in the temple, our rituals or our altars or spiritual work in anywhere social media or even in the Eze-Ana, you will not see those things. You know why? Even testimonies, you cannot see it. You know why? Those things are not actually necessary. But I can tell you, our group rituals, we have massive testimonies. We started this group rituals over 3 years now. And I can tell you there is power in group rituals. So before we dive into today's lecture, today's topic is consequence of not keeping family covenant / agreement. Consequence of not keeping family covenant / agreement. Pay attention today, because by the word you are going to hear today, bandage will fall from your eyes. Yes. Even if you are one of those people that have foundational problems in your families, pay attention. Let me tell you what you must do in order to liberate yourself and to be at peace with your foundational forces. Before we dive into today's lecture, important announcement. We are in New Brand Month, March, and you can join us in our monthly rituals. We do it in group. You can join us anywhere you are all over the world. Distance is never a barrier in all our spiritual work in the temple. It is for upliftment, breakthrough, and liberation. So if you are interested, what you have to do, forward your 3 prayer requests. We keep it in the altar, making declarations upon your life throughout the month. On the last day of the month, we visit the waters with eatable things to do saraka. Then we proceed to Apo Kalet and Dimiri. Then we proceed back to the temple to offer sacrifices to entities of powers. Then Ghana Ben Chuaja Bukwazi Mesaraka. I can tell you have massive testimonies. So if you are interested, what you have to do is to chat me on WhatsApp and forward your 3 prayer requests and make token donation. This morning I have gone to the temple to make declaration upon our fans, members of the Restoration Evangelical Mission, our members of Children of the Temple, and the Friends of the Temple. Yes, so pay attention today. If you are interested in joining our monthly rituals, we do it in group, or you want us to do deep consultation for you, or you have any question in today's lecture, please chat me on WhatsApp 0805 7837 I repeat 0805 7837 or 0813 8243 871. I repeat 0813 8243 871. Let's now proceed into this lecture. Remember my topic: consequence of not keeping family covenant / agreement. So pay attention. I'm sure there is some people that this particular message is meant for. So if you came into this lecture, believe in me, you might be one of those people that will liberate themselves and be at peace with their foundational spirits. So before we proceed, pay attention. If you are following me from TikTok, Facebook, and other social platforms, then tag your friends and well wishers. You can still watch this lecture later on our YouTube channel, Eze-Ana TV, or in my Facebook page or TikTok. The name remains Ogbuefi Eze-Ana Gochitubel. Now let's proceed. Saying, our forefathers entered into agreements with forces of nature. Let me tell you what happened from time immemorial. When Chukwuokike, the Almighty Father, created the entire universe, his intention is for human spirit to be here on earth and to mature and become better human beings. Then he created entities of powers, elemental beings, to be in charge of these gross materials known and called earth. Those elemental beings are there going about doing good. Their primary purpose is to worship Chukwuokike Purimihenine. But in their course of job, they normally come across man in one way or the other. And we have these entities of powers, from elemental beings to animistic beings to higher entities and beings that controls the planes, the kingdoms, and the worlds. Both those one you can see with your physical eyes, and those one that is beyond your imaginations. But I can tell you there is power that controls the entire universe. Yes. The same way, why I normally, whenever I'm giving lecture, I normally try to do some illustrations, is for you to understand where I'm coming from clearly. You see the way, let me use the government of Nigeria for example. We have Mr. President who stays in Abuja, Aso Rock. However, we have also the agents of government, name it, the military, the police, the civil defense, the customs, the judiciary, the lawmakers and everything, the parastators and rest of them. From the top, from the PAM sect, Secretary of the Federation, the Attorney General, come down to even the local government, as in the councillor, that this is cadres of powers of government. And all these powers, cadres of government, are working in accordance with the powers of the Federal Republic, which Mr. President is the commander-in-chief. Now, the judge will judge you and send you to prison based on the power enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. Of course, the agents of government are working for Mr. President. They are working with the powers as present on them. Are you following? So the same way Chukwu Okike in his infinite mercy is in his throne, the divine throne. However, he has his agents, call it elemental beings and mystic forces of nature and rest of them. Yes. The same way the agents of government is working for the glory and benefit of the Mr. President. Because if the parastators and the agents of government is doing bad, it will be affecting the image of Mr. President, because they are his agents. The same way the entities of powers are working for the glory of Chukwu Okike, the Almighty Father. So they are all angels of God. That is why even if when we are in the church, we tell you then, well, 9 choirs of angels, the throne, the seraphim, the angels, the archangels, and rest of them. These are cadres of powers, because there is division of labor. Yes, we have the entities of powers that is in charge of going for warfare, those ones that are in charge of bringing good news, and so on and so forth. The same way, because I tell you that what is happening in this gross material world, the world you are seeing, is prototype of what is happening in the spiritual realm. Now, agreement is agreement. Those days, there is nothing like the modern system of government. There is no police, no military barrack, no those police stations you are seeing is to ensure there is peace in each community. That is their primary purpose, to ensure there is peace and that people live in harmony within the communities. That is why governments cite all the police stations within the communities. So their primary purpose is to make peace. The same way Chukwu Okike cited all the entities of powers in our various communities in form of Arusi, yes, and various altars in various communities. Every community has theirs. Yes, but as the world progresses, those days, because I'm talking about the ancient times, what happened last 500 years, 1,000 years, thousands years ago, when some of these altars was erected in our various homes. because Africa has been in existence from time immemorial. Yes. So what I'm telling you is that time there is no police station, there is no court. So that time it was like the survival of the fittest. There are some people that are great. Some people fear them. They can't live with people around because of the way they live their life of dominance. Some of their neighbors flee and run away. So they took over the man's land. That's why there's some people, some families that have big land. Because if you check their family history, maybe their grandfather or their great grandfather was one of those strong men of yesteryears. So he dominated in the environment. So those days, there is a time for slave trade. Some people, if they feel that you are a threat to them, they will connive with the slave masters, maybe to sell you off. So lots of intimidation was still there, as in then. The same way intimidation, we still have intimidation now. But if it have not affected you, you might think that there's no intimidation. No, there is still intimidation. Those people with great minds and contacts, they still intimidate the less privileged. That is a story for another day. But what I can tell you is that it does not start today. So some of those intimidation has been part of men. Remember the story of Cain and Abel, when Cain killed his brother because of envy and jealousy. So it started time immemorial. Are you following? So those days, some of our fathers, because of intimidation, maybe another neighbor, maybe their brother want to scare them and take over their land. Some of them said no. Some of them decide that they will never run away from their inheritance, their land. Some of them swore that they will never run away from anybody, that this is the land of their birth, that they will stay there and defend it to the fullest. So some of them entered into agreement with Umumu, entered into the agreement with entities of powers for the benefit of their families. But it pains me that most families don't celebrate their ancestors. Do you know what some of them went through to secure that your ancestral land today? Do you know? Do you know it's only in Africa that somebody is looking down on his ancestors, forgetting that you, hearing my voice now, is a representative of your ancestors. One Igbo adage says, and I quote, "No onye mara nne ya maru ndị Igbo," meaning if you know your father, you have already known their ancestors. You cannot claim to love your ancestors without loving your father you are seeing now. So there was a country called America. You have heard about America. The pathfinder of America is called Christopher Columbus. America don't joke with Christopher Columbus. They celebrate him for being the pathfinder. Your physical land is known today as America. He is the pathfinder. Therefore, they celebrate him yearly. The Israelites, the Anyari people, don't joke with Abraham. If you dare Abraham, they will deal with you. They said Abraham is their father. Now, I'm asking you that are under the influence of my voice, when was the last time you celebrated your fathers? Okay, let me give you an example. It is very difficult to see anybody in Africa, especially we Nigerian blacks. How many of you can call the lineage names of your ancestors to the 5th or 7th descendants? How many of you can mention the name of your father, the person that born your father, the person that born your father, great grandfather, and so on to the 7th generation? How many will do it? None. Yes, because we lost the attitude of keeping history. Even my own family, we kept up to 5th generation. If you come to my obi, you will see where we put it in marble, as my father counted it for me. But I can tell you, based on my research, my own family is one of the family that kept the names of their ancestors to the 5th generation. Most family can only call the name of their grandfather, at most the great grandfather. That's all. Are you following? But you can be here and be mentioning, calling the names of the saints of the Roman Church. You can call all of them, but you're refusing to appreciate the effort of your fathers. Let me tell you, some of you will be asking what your grandfathers did. What they did is that they are the pathfinder. Yet, the geophysical location of your family land today is secured by them. Then ask yourself what you have done in addition to that. So they deserve to be celebrated. So some of them, they were cajoled, some of them was intimidated, but they still insist that they are not leaving their land, their inheritance, for anybody. They no grief for anybody. They stood their ground. Instead, some of them decided to call upon the ancestral spirits. Some of them contacted the mother side spirits. Some of them call upon the entities of powers from the light region and have covenant. Gods of our land, this is my ancestral home. I will not run away from anybody. This is what they did. Most of them said, this is my ancestral land. I will not run away from anybody. Please, he now entered into agreement with the forces of nature. Some of them called them down and they stored them as altar. The same way your Reverend Father, yes, did some incantations and they make some declaration with hosts produced by Reverend sisters in the convent. Just a flock of bread without yeast called host. After that incantation and prayers, he now declared that Jesus have entered into that host. He begins to genuflect for the host and said it's already Jesus. And they will begin to ring bell. And at the end of the day, he took after giving Holy Communion to people, he take the remaining ones to chapel, as in to chapel or tabernacle. And people will bow down, praying that their God is there. Now, you accepted that one, right? But you refuse to accept that your ancestors, before the arrival of Ndanyari and foreign religion, did the same thing to install upon the entities of power. They are not even calling say is God, but the angels of God. They install them in your families and have covenants for protection, for childbearing, and for family wealth, and so on and so forth. They entered into agreement. Not today. Entering into agreement with forces of nature does not start today. Remember the Ark of Covenant. Why I normally quote Bible, because some of you will say, where is it in the Bible? I normally like to use the stories you have come across. I remember you have come across the story in the Bible concerning the Ark of Covenant for the Israelites, right? That's why I want to cite those examples. Now, there was a time the Israelites, they faced a lot of challenges from their neighbors, their countries, their neighbors. They now entered into agreement with Chukwu that they have plenty enemies. They entered into agreement for protection so that Chukwu will always assist them to go to war and for that they will defeat their enemies. And that is how God instructed them how they will mold and build the Ark of Covenant. That there must be 2 cherubim molded something. Yes, male and female. An image inside the Ark of Covenant, and tell them about the acacia wood and other things that will be into the Ark of Covenant. Above all, he told them that there must be the 10 Commandments will be there to remind them what the agreement they entered into, that they must keep the 10 Commandments. that once they do this, he will always remain their father and protect them from their enemies. That was the agreement. And whenever they are going to war, they carry the Ark of Covenant to war, and they must win. But at a stage, they stop keeping those covenants. And for the fact that they deviated from that agreement entered in good faith with Chukwuoke to be his obedient children, Chukwuoke abandoned them. And during the time of Persian Empire, the Babylonians defeated them because they are no longer with God. They are no longer keeping the agreement, their own part of the agreement. Then the forces of nature deserted them. That is why they were defeated and they were taken to captivity. They scattered them all over the world and filled their land with the Babylonians, the present day people of Iran and Iraq. But because the old Babylonians is within the Iraq and the Iran axis, the children of Nebuchadnezzar. So what I'm telling you is that there is serious consequence whenever an agreement is broken. You remember the story of the Israelites when they are keeping the agreement entered into with forces of nature, with their fathers, they were progressing. But when they deserted that agreement, everything went into disarray and they were defeated. They were taken into captivity in foreign land. The same thing is what is happening in your ancestral home today. Your ancestors entered into an agreement for protection and the ending untimely death. They entered into agreement for protection and goodness of life. And during their time, they keep keeping their own agreement, keeping the laws of the land, Nswana. That is what we call Nswana. They kept their own. In Igbo spirituality, we have what we call Nswana, what we must do and what we must never do. In Igbo spirituality, you are forbidden from taking somebody, an innocent person's life. Once you do it, you must face what we call abomination cleansing. You are forbidden from sleeping with somebody's wife, somebody that is legally married to someone. You are forbidden. You are forbidden from stealing what is not yours, and so on and so forth. We have it in Igbo spirituality. Those things that is abomination. You are forbidden from sleeping with your fellow man. You are forbidden from sleeping with your fellow woman. You are forbidden from sleeping with your blood relative, and so on. You know those forbidden laws of your communities. You know it. So why dodging it? One of the reasons why people join Christianity and other foreign religions is because he tells them that it doesn't matter. Once he commits all this abomination, you just go to the Reverend Father, you do hand like this. I forgive you, go and do 10 Ekene Maria and the 9 Hail Mary full of grace and the 5 Our Father who art in heaven. Go, your sin have been forgiven. Who does that? They made people to start believing that you can kill somebody carelessly without being authorized, and you just shed tears and say thank you Jesus. They are saying we forgive him. Who does that? So they made people to start seeing that you can commit any sin and just go scot-free by shedding crocodile tears and say thank you Jesus, thank you my Lord. They are saying have been forgiven. Who does that? So that's why I keep blaming Christianity for watering everything, making people to be behaving anyhow and thinking that their sin have been forgiven. Who does that? It's not true. Why people left tradition? Because tradition has consequence. Once you commit any abominable act, you go to Ajar. You must go to cleansing and promise that this sin you will never do it again and face the rocks if there is anyone. People are doing abortion the way they are. Igbo tradition forbids it because it forbids spilling of blood of innocent person. So all these things is why people now follow foreign religion, because it's very simple. It's simpler. It makes everything very simple for them to be behaving the way they are. That is why things begin to happen. People can serve in government and with mindset of stealing. You are a big man in the government, you are paying other people peanuts, where you are swimming in millions, stealing government money. I know one of the first minister of aviation, Mbono Jike, I know Mbazulika Amechi. He died without being a rich man. Look at M.I. Okparaha. Look at Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Look at them. These are people that wants to rule this country, but they're not rich. But what is happening here? Ordinary local government chairman is building mansions. Is it not stealing? I have said it times with that number that if they want to solve this problem, they should be swearing them in with native deities. Go there, the movie and shoe, and they swore that you will serve the community with all cleanness, or even their state. Without doing so, with this Bible they are doing, they call it out of forfeit. That is a joke. That is the problem. So that's why they believe they can bamboozle agreement and everything, turn everything around, and people are suffering. Yes. Although that one is a teaching for another day. But what I can tell you that some people abandon their ancestral forces, ways of life, because following modern Christianity way is very simple, and it doesn't call a spade a spade. As a traditionalist, there are some certain things that I cannot do, because also abondo. Yes, there are some certain things I can never do, because if you are a traditionalist and you are not keeping those laws, you are not serious, because keeping those laws is the bedrock. So your ancestors entered into agreement with the forces of nature for protection and rest of them. When was the last time your family celebrated the ancestors? I have told you people that you should create a particular day, call it Ancestral Day. I'm living by example. Years back, I restored my family home. Every 1st of January is our ancestral home, our ancestral days. Even if you don't have anything, break cola, call your ancestors, tell them that today you are celebrating them for what they have done. And plead with them, tell them the problems of the family. Tell them that they should help you to put an end to all these things. But what happened? You people entered into Christianity. I know the people that brought religion came with deceit, including my own father. My grandfather was a herbalist and a titled man. But before he passed on, he handed every family, everything, and the family staff to my father. But my father went to school and was deceived by these foreign missionaries then. He went and threw away the family of and staff. And what happened? Crisis set in till he eventually passed on. I'm the one that restored the family of and family staff. Don't you know that whenever your family destroy the family staff and the of, that is what the symbol of authority, symbol of agreement, entered in good faith with your ancestors. Once you throw it away, you have thrown away everything great. The wishes, the longing, the prayers of your ancestors. Look at what your ancestors did. Every family in Africa has offer, but the problem is that some families later cut their own off. Offer is that a stick, is like a stick or whatever it resembles in your culture, that your ancestors once used. Whenever they make declaration that it shall be well with my family, they say they hit it on the ground. They said, in my family, untimely death is no more. They say they hit it on the ground. And they keep making pronouncements, making decrees. The same way the judge is doing in the court. I, the chief judge, I as judge of this honorable court, I hereby rule as follows: that so thing has happened. He hit it by. It's for the witness in the universe to bear witness that a certain degree had been made. The same way in the house of assembly and everything. Those one is your own. But traditionally we have the one that have been there from time immemorial. That is what your family destroyed. Your family go and invited some of these ignorant people as pastors. They came to your family and destroyed various altars. Believe in me, those altars he destroyed is not the cause of your problem. Believe in me, I'm a living witness. Those altars he destroyed Yes, what actually happened is that because he are ignorant of how things work. Those altars he destroyed is family altars that ancestors built with good intention. They never build it. They don't do ogwegona, they don't do rituals. They did it for long life, prosperity, and multiplication, and long life, longevity. Now, those things you destroy, those altars they build for a purpose, you destroy them. Then when those untimely deaths, what they saw that had been happening in your family that made them to install those altars to put an end to untimely death, when those untimely death returns back as you have destroyed the old covenant, what is your option? What will you do? Those childlessness that has been in your family that your ancestors saw and made them to build aquarium that ensure that the fertility of the family keep multiplying, and they destroy it. When that thing that is that have been there came back again, and you people begin to experience on childlessness, what is your solution to it? Christianity came and they brainwash you, that ask you to destroy those things. I have lived in India. I can tell you, India and China, they don't joke with, or is it Japanese and those Asians, they don't joke with their spirituality. Go to any company in China or in India or even in Japan, you must see where they build their shrine. Go to their various shop. They don't joke, and that's why they are the fastest growing economy, because they don't joke. The same people that colonized us colonize them, but they want them never to touch their spirituality. They still maintain their spirituality till date, but they came to Africa, take away what made us tick, and now introduce lesbianism, homo, all manners of irresponsible lifestyle. That's what we copy. How can you compete with them when you throw away what makes you tick, what makes you unique? Our moral value in this country is very zero. Everybody wants to do what he likes, and that is the problem. We have enough to go around for everybody to live comfortable. But now, you can see some people and their family corners everything. And there is crime everywhere. So what am I saying? Your family altar you people destroy. Let me tell you one thing. When my family altar was destroyed, we were in mess. Until when my father passed on, and eventually many years after, I embraced Eze-Ana. And I began to restore everything we have lost in life. I began to fix everything back. First of all, I restored your phone first, that of all that was destroyed. And immediately I restored your phone, everything we lost in the family began to come back. Because my own family during the time of my grandfather was comfortable family. Because my grandfather was a chief. He was an also title holder. He has money to the extent that he lend money to people. People give him land in exchange. You know, that time they don't normally buy land outrightly. So what am I saying? That if there is altar in your family land, you are not interested, please do as right. Never you go and be part of destroying it. Because if you destroy it, the gods of your land and the ancestral forces will destroy you. Go and mark it anywhere. Let me give you another example before I round up. If for any reason it happens to be a child to Dangote, highly respected Alhaji like Dangote, he is the chairman of Dangote Group right now. Maybe let's say in many years to come, he finished living his earth life and he passed on and handed over the running of Dangote Group to you as the new chairman. Remember, the Dangote Group entered into agreement with many companies, as in many partners, shareholders, many banks that is rolling the company's finances. Now, what do you think that will happen when the current CEO is no longer there, and you, the new CEO, one of your children, you become the new CEO and announce that we are not interested to honor any agreement entered in good faith with your father, that we are not interested, that every agreement must not be maintained. Yes, The same way is the same thing. What do you think that will happen to Dangote Group? I can tell you, let me tell you what will happen. Immediately his successor announced that he's no longer interested in honoring any agreement entered in good faith with his father, the former chairman. He is not interested in honoring any agreement. What will happen is this: the shareholders, the partners, the banks will begin to write him to warn him the pending due that is going to befall the company if he insists. If he insists, the next thing they will do, he will begin to receive litigation, court case. And I can tell you, by the time the shareholders, the partners, the banks begin to sue the company, what will happen to the company? The company will collapse. That is exactly what is happening in your family. By the time you stop maintaining those altars built by your ancestors, and I can tell you, nobody will love you more than your ancestor. I can tell you, even your pastor. It's only your father that will take cola and pray. The God Almighty, bless my children. Let my children be greater than me. Your pastor will not pray it. Your pastor will never say such prayer. Instead, your pastor will pray for you to be great, but not for you to be greater than him. It's only your parents will pray that you be greater than them. Are you following? So now your ancestors installed those things because they want betterment for their children unborn. But because of your foolishness, you came, maybe they brainwash you in the church, you came and carry one ofeke, ignorant people, to come and destroy those family altars that made you people tick. Let me tell you, if you are not interested in benefiting from family altars, do as right, but don't destroy it. Because once you destroy it, they will destroy you. You are not permitted in creation to destroy what you cannot create. You cannot create those altars. Creating those altars is not on nature. It's not by choice. David in the Bible wanted to build altar, temple for God. And Chukwuka said, David, you can't build altar for me because your hands is soiled by blood. It's only his son, Solomon, that later built temple for God. So building family altar is not on nature. Your forefathers were chosen and permitted. That's why they built the Obi. That's why they build all those things. So, but if you don't want the blessings from those altars, move, go away. You can go and look for another land elsewhere. But instead of doing as right, you went and destroyed those things. That is the nemesis of your problem. That is the beginning of your problem. So you have no right whatsoever to destroy what you can never create. Those altars is inspired, is an inspirational act. Your forefathers was inspired before they built it. The same way David was inspired to say Psalm. What is Psalm? What is so unique about Psalm? Psalm is declaration David made for his children. Example, Psalm 35, he said, fight for them, my enemies. Give them war, those people that is fighting me. Let them go blind. Let their way be stripped. He prayed for the betterment of his family. The same way your ancestors prayed with your for the betterment of your family, but you were deceived. You threw away the symbol of authority, symbol of power, symbol of agreement with your forefathers to the bush because you were brainwashed by church people. So what am I saying? The same thing that will happen to any CEO that refuses to maintain agreement entered in good faith with his predecessor. Yes, his predecessor, chairman, emeritus. Now, you destroy those agreements. The same thing is what will happen to you when you abandon your ancestral agreement with forces of nature. You don't have to destroy them. If you are not interested, go as right. The same way, if for any reason a child of Alhaji Aliko Dangote is not interested in his father's wealth, can as well do as right. If they say, my son, I want to give you this properties, he said, Daddy, I'm not interested, go with your money. Who will force him? Nobody. He is the one that will be the loser, right? So, even your ancestral altar, if you are not interested, disconnect yourself. It's a simple thing. Just say, my ancestors, I'm not interested in any agreement entered in peace with you, my ancestors. I want to be left alone. I don't have anything in connection with you people, my ancestors. Then they will let you go. Who are you? You are the one that needs them, because they are backbone, your ancestors. But going there to destroy the altars is going too far. Let me round up. If your family is one of those families that destroyed the family altars, I will advise you to restore, go and do the needful and restore it back. If for any reason you cannot be able to restore it back alone, then do what I call appeasement, family spirit alignment. Be at peace with them. Tell them that those things was done in error, that you are pleading. Maybe those things were destroyed before you were born, that you are so sorry for what happened. Yes, that you wish to be exonerated from the punishment that comes because of that single act. Then begin to correct yourself with them. Tell them that you are sorry for what happened. Once you begin to live a good life, believe in me, whatever that is budala, whatever that is punishment meted for those people that committed the act, you will be exempted, because you have made peace. You have proved to them that if you have what it takes, if you are in the position that you will not support such, that is the only thing you can do to save yourself. If your family is family where they destroy the family of four, come, I will help your family to restore it. I restored my family of four, and all we have lost in the past has been restored. I will help you because I have been there. So make sure that you are not part and parcel of destroying any altar in your family. If you have done already, come for restitution and reparation for your own good. Because you cannot benefit anything fighting with whom nobody does that and go free. You can never win them, because they lose nothing. You are the one that will be frustrated. You can be frustrated in your work, in your family life, in whatever you do, and they can even buy yourself because of frustration. So you better now come back and make peace. Igbo spirituality is not, or the African spirituality is not evil. You just maintain your part, live an upright life. Whatever that is yours, definitely nobody will take what is yours, because you are well rooted and connected with your ancestral forces for good. Let me stop here. If you have any question in today's lecture, or you want us to do deep consultation for you, chat me on WhatsApp 0805 7837 I repeat, 0805 7837 In the name of God Almighty, may you be blessed. May the work of your hands begin to yield fruit. May you be favored. See you tomorrow. No gawan case of woman on web road. Emecha no ye poor me. Who do the